There's no one to repeat. You can repeat the gayan. Sri Sri Gauranitai Guru Sri Prabhupada Bhagavatyam Vidyasya Jnanandaya Sadadaya Chakshurvakiritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Sri Chaitanya Prabhupada Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Bhutale Bhutale Swatanam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Prabhupada Sri Guru Vaishnavamsa Sri Rupam Sarvijayam Sarvijayam Sadvaitam Sarvabhutam Parijanam Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Radha Sarvabhutam Sri Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinare Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prashanani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Sutare Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Premnaya Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Namaste Sattvacharan Gauranga Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Vikarmani Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripasindhubhye Patitanaam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. So Bhagavatam 10-7 chapter 11 text 14. 10-7 chapter 11 text 14. I will read the text and then word to word meaning we will recite it. We will repeat. Viprasyaadhyanaadini sadanyasya parigraha Nagyo vritti prajabhotu abhipragvapadivi. Please repeat after me. Viprasya of the Brahmana Adhyayan Adini reading the Vedas etc. Sat 6 to study the Vedas, to teach the Vedas, to worship the deity, to teach others how to worship, to accept charity, and to give charity. Anyasya of those other than the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas. Apratigraha without accepting charity from others. The Kshatriyas may execute the 5 other occupational duties prescribed for the Brahmanas. Ragya of the Kshatriyas. Vritti, the means of livelihood. Praja Bhoktu, who maintain the subjects. Avipra, from those who are not Brahmanas. Va, or Kar Adini, by levying revenue taxes, custom duties, fines for punishment. Translation. For a Brahmana, there are 6 occupational duties, meaning study the Vedas, teaching the Vedas, worshipping the deities, teaching others how to worship the deity, accepting charity and giving charity. These are 6 occupational duties for Brahmana. The Kshatriya should not accept charity. but he may perform the other five of these duties. A king or Kshatriya is not allowed to levy taxes on Brahmanas, but he may make his livelihood by levying minimal taxes, custom duties, and penalty fines upon his other subjects, except Brahmanas. Please repeat after me the translation. For a Brahmana, there are six occupational duties. A Kshatriya should not accept charity, but he may perform the other five of these duties. A king or Kshatriya is not allowed to levy taxes on Brahmanas, but he may make his livelihood by levying minimal taxes, custom duties, and penalty fines upon his other subjects. Purpose. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains the position of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as follows. Brahmanas have six occupational duties, of which three are compulsory, namely studying the Vedas, worshipping the deity, and giving charity. By teaching, by inducing others to worship the deity, and by accepting gifts, the Brahmanas receive the necessities of life. This is also confirmed in the Manu Samhita. Sannam tu karmanamasya tvini karmani jivika yajana dhyapane jaiva visuddha chakratika. Of the six occupational duties of the Brahmanas, three are compulsory, namely worshipping the deity, study of the Vedas, and giving of charity. In exchange, a Brahmana should receive charity, and this should be his means of livelihood. A Brahmana cannot take up any professional occupational duty for his livelihood. The Shastras especially stress that if one claims to be a Brahmana, he cannot engage in the service of anyone else. Otherwise, he at once falls from his position and becomes a Sudra. Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami belong to a very respectful family, but because they engaged in the service of Nawab Sansar, not even as ordinary clerk, but as ministers, they were ostracized from Brahminical society. Indeed, they became like Mohammedan and even changed their names. Unless a Brahmana is very pure, he cannot accept charity from others. Charities should be given to those who are pure. Even if one is born in a family of Brahmanas, if one acts as a Shudra, one cannot accept charity, for this is strictly prohibited. Although the Kshatriyas are almost as qualified as the Brahmanas, even they cannot accept charity. This is strictly prohibited in this verse by the word apratikara. What to speak of the lower social orders? Even the Kshatriyas must not accept charity. The king or government may levy taxes upon the citizen in various ways, by revenue duties, custom duties, realizations of fines, and so on, provided the king is able to give full protection to his subjects to assure the security of their life and property. Unless he is able to give protection, he cannot levy taxes. However, a king must not levy any tax upon the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. This section of this chapter and this canto, this is the first chapter describing about perfect society. And in this chapter, the social orders are described. Next chapter, the spiritual order is described. And in these coming verses, 14, 15, 17, 18, this description of Brahmanical duty and Kshatriya duty. In the next verses to our Bhagavad Gita, always given. And this in this purport, actually, Srila Prabhupada is describing about six duties of Brahmana and duties of Kshatriya, duties of king or government. In the initial part of the purport, he is describing about six duties of Brahmana, and the later part of the purport, he is describing about the duty of the king. So, Patan Patan Yajan Yajan Ram Pratikara, these six duties is described, accepting the charity. But theoretically, it is being said here that Kshatriya cannot accept charity. Other five things which are mentioned for Brahmana, those things Kshatriya may do, but he cannot accept charity like Brahmana. And then Prabhupada is telling that when Kshatriya cannot accept charity, then what to speak of the people who are uh, lower in the order than Kshatriya, meaning Vaisya and Sudra. So, in these six occupational duties also, three are compulsory for the Brahmanas. This is from the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that out of these six, three are compulsory. Studying the Vedas, worshipping the deity, and giving charity. Other three also teaching the Vedas, teaching others how to worship the deity, and accepting charity. They are complementary to this action. But he is telling that these three are more dominant. These three are compulsory. And by teaching, by inducing others, and by accepting gift, Brahmana receives the necessity of life. Meaning he can, if he teach others about Vedas, or if he teach others about deity worship, and he accepts gift, then he can peacefully live his life. Because for the Brahmana class, for the Kshatriya class, it's prohibited that they accept salary from others. This is not the occupational duty of the Brahmana to accept salary. In any case, and also one precaution is there. Even if one is born in the family of Brahmanas, if he acts as a Shudra, he cannot accept charity. So only the birth in the Brahmana family is not sufficient. He has to accept as a Brahmana. Then only he has the right to accept charity. In the Kali Yuga, the Brahman families they accept charity, they give charities, but they don't act like a Brahmana. Meaning, at least in the villages, now we see that there are some people who do propaganda and they are pious. They are not they don't take onion garden. There are families in the villages like this. But mostly, many Brahmanas now they are taking onion garden. Even meat. In Mumbai, I met one Bharadwaj family. So, whole family was meat eater and they were supportive of the meat eater. And Bharadwaj is a pure Brahman, like by birth it is said. So many families they have given up the Brahminical culture and they have taken the Western culture and they think that Brahminical culture is the whole, it is outdated now and there is no need for now retaining that culture. So they only retain the names like Prabhupada used to say the Goswami, Dvivedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi. These are the names according to the occupation of the Brahmanas. Which Veda he has memorized, which Veda he knows, and which thing he teaches. Based on that, these names are given for the Brahmanas. But as the time is passing, these Prabhupada writes that in Kolkata he saw one rickshawala, he had the Brahminical thread. This Prabhupada gave the example in teachings of Vaidyanti. In some other places also, I read in teachings of Vaidyanti. So we can see that the Varna system has been degenerated like a simple caste system nowadays. The core of the Vedic system is called Varnasam. which distinguishes the human being from animal. Now it has come on the level of, because of the limitation, it has come on the level of the simple caste system. And people think that Varnashram is the way of primitive life. Primitive life means those who are Andhavishwas, means Andhavishwas, I don't know what they're saying in English, blind faith. They have blind faith, they follow these type of things. Otherwise, Varnashram is not required, or even the Vedic culture is not required. And this is the modern propaganda. The social media also we see so many posts like this, that temples are not required. What is the need of worshipping the deity? And all shastras are also mythologies. What is the value of reading the scriptures? So modern propaganda is like this to destroy the Varnashram culture. Actually, since the beginning of Kali Yuga, it started like this. The first attack was on the son of Samik Rishi, Swindy. His name was Swindy, and Prabhupada writes in the first canto, 19th chapter, 18th chapter, that the Swindy was the immature Brahminical boy, and he was playing with his schoolmates, classmates, with his age group boy he was playing, and when he saw this, so Prabhupada told that he was not mature to take decision like this, but just to show his power, he cursed Parikshit. And that was the first attack on the immature Brahmana. And then one Purana describes that taking center of the age of Kali Yuga, many demonic person comes and many demonic people take birth in the Brahmana family. Which Purana it is? Good Purana? Someplace it is written. I forgot the name. तुझी कौन सा पुराण है? कौन सा पुराण है कि असुरम देहम आपन्ना ब्राह्मण योनि सुजाय, इस तरह से कुछ श्लोक है। असुर लोग ब्राह्मण योनि में आते हैं। So that Purana describes about this, and because of that, after that, when the Kali Yuga progresses, slowly Brahmanical standards goes down, and when Lord Buddha was there, before then that it became so degraded that on the name of Vedas, they are eating all kinds of, they are killing the animals and eating the non-vegetarian food. And, after that, there were incidents when the husband has died. So the wife, because Satipatha was voluntary in the beginning. Beginning means before Kali Yuga, it was voluntary process. Because the wife used to think that without the association of the husband, it is difficult to live. It is easy to die. One student asked me this question. We had a program in GC, Surat, Government Engineering College. So some 200 students were there. So when we discussed about Satipatha, so he asked this question that it is so cruel that the wife was dying. So I gave him the answer in his language only. He says that even in Bollywood movies they say कि तुम्हारे बिना हम जी नहीं पाएंगे. I will not be able to live without you. Because the nature of love is like this. When we love someone so much, sometimes it becomes more difficult for us to live without him. And we prefer to die with him. That is the nature of love. And that is the concept behind Satipatha. But with the passage of Kali Yuga, and that much bonding was not there. So wife was being forced to be burned along with the dead body of the husband. And eventually that Satipatha was being abolished. And that time, during Bhaktivinoda Thakur time, the incident which is mentioned, that there was one woman, she was being tied with the dead body of the husband, and when she was being burnt, she was crying and so much screaming sound was coming. So the Brahmanas started beating the drums and cyanide so that nobody can hear the sound of the crying lady. So even that level it happened because the natural system Those who were the leaders of the society, the Brahmanas, or those who were the leader of the society, they didn't understand the concept behind the value system, and they just accepted the external formality without taking the internal spiritual message. So that's why the system became useless. And when the Kshatriyas saw this, that these Brahmanas are supposed to be the leader of the society, but they are acting in such a abominable manner, so they tried to reject Brahmanical authority. But when the Kshatriya rejects the Brahmanical authority, then it becomes almost like dictatorship. Kshatriya takes over, but there is no one who can guide the Kshatriya on the religious and spiritual subject matter. Slowly, it degenerates into dictatorship. In many parts of the world, dictatorship is started. In the recent past also we see that dictatorship was there. Hitler and many people like this. Mussolini, Hitler, Mussolini, they are the example of dictatorship. So when the Kshatriyas are not guided by the Brahmanas, it gives birth to the dictatorship. Because Brahmanas are on the top of the society, they are the leader of the society, and when they became degraded, so Kshatriya wanted to take the post of the leader. Eventually, Vaishyas also wanted to take the post of the leader. Sudras also wanted to take the post of the leader. And when Vaisyas come for taking the post of the leader of the society, then it gives birth to capitalism. Pujivad we say in the Hindi. Capitalism is taking birth by Vaisyas becoming the leader. And communism takes birth when Sudras try to become leader. They try to make classless society. Prabhupada writes about this concept in his book of Dialectic Spiritualism, and he is describing about different philosophies. So he writes this concept that how different philosophies are coming from the Varnashram means degradation of Varnashram, different things came up, and they became the big entrepreneurs in all over the world. Now many countries are capitalist countries. Some countries are dictatorship also. Like China is kind of dictatorship. North Korea also. So some places this is there. Most of the places democratic countries have gone. Some places capitalism is there. Soviet Union was the communism. So all these are the we can say the transformation, bad transformation came from Varnashram, original Varnashram system. So even now, if Krishna conscious devotees try, if they can develop the occupational duties of Brahmana and other classes, then it is Prabhupada actually once said also that our movement is for creating the Brahmanas, the topmost order of the society. Because in the body, the head is the most important part. If we if the head is working properly, then the body can be maintained. So if the Brahmanical class again can be revived, then it will be very easy to adjust other classes. And Brahmanas, there are 9 qualities of Brahmana. Bhagavad Gita it is given. Samodama, Tapa, Socham, Shanti, Rajam, Devacham, Jnana, Vidyana, Askrityam, Dhamma, Karma, Sama means controlling of the mind. Dhamma means controlling of the senses. Tapa means doing austerity. Socham means being very clean. Brahmanas are immaculately clean actually. This cleanliness is being ingrained in Brahmanical culture. Cleanliness is so much focused in Brahmanical culture that for the modern people, it looks like fantasy. Like we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita when it comes in Madhya Leela, Raghu Pandit is offering uh, coconut water to his deities. I forgot the name of the deity. He is offering coconut water. So he is bringing coconut water from such a long distance because the coconut water that was close to his house was not so nice, and he was paying a lot of money for bringing the coconut from long distance. And when that coconut came, so one person came and he just touched his hand in the ceiling of the door, and then by that hand he touched the coconut. So Raghav Pandit rejected it. He told that the ceiling, many people come and go from the door, and the dust of their feet go on the ceiling. So you have touched the ceiling, now you cannot, if you have touched these coconuts, then they cannot be offered. Such was the standard of cleanliness. When people read this thing, they think it is too much. It's not too much, we are too degraded. That's why these standards are like us. Prabhupada went to Hyderabad temple and Prabhupada saw the temple and he saw that he told the devotees that the temple is not clean. So one devotee told that no Prabhupada, it looks like it is clean. So Prabhupada told actually there is uncleanness in your mind, that's why you are thinking that it is clean. And there is one more incident which comes. There are so many rats in the temple. Some places I go down to some place. So the they were so big rats that sometimes the cat was fearful for going behind the rat. So one devotee he came to actually he was not directly talking with Prabhupada, but he came to ask to the manager of the temple that so many rats are there, what should be done? Should we kill the rats? So Prabhupada told, not rat, you should be killed. So he couldn't understand what Prabhupada said. So he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada told, no, not rat, you should be killed. Because rat comes when you don't keep cleanliness. You keep unclean things in all places, then rats will come. So because you don't keep it clean, then now you are trying to kill in the rats. So those who when they progress in spiritual life, automatically they love cleanliness. They want to remain in a clean place. They want to clean their bodies. They want to clean their belongings. So in this lockdown time, Prabhuji has engaged all of us nice to clean the temple campus. It's a nice duty actually, nice service. Because in the normal course, it will become difficult to do cleaning in all the places in the temple. But now we can search in all the Gurudam and other places and clean all the things. When we cleaned that room, that Gurudam, it was such horrible condition the first day when we entered. Like I don't think it was being cleaned before. It was the first time it was being cleaned. So the things from 1990s it was there. From last 20 years, many things were cleaned. So cleanliness is good. When we clean the place, then we also feel good. Before cleaning, we may find that laziness that oh, who will do it. But when we clean it, then we also feel good. We also like to stay there. This is the nature of cleanliness. Everybody would like to stay in the clean place because the mind becomes refreshed when we see the cleanliness around. And then the next part of the paragraph describes about some things about Kshatriyas. Description of Kshatriyas. Description of Kshatriyas comes in Mahabharata also. Mahabharata. It should come in Santi Parva. Teachings of Bhishma, it comes in which part? Santi Parva. Santi Parva, chapter number 16. So Bhishma Deva is describing to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And in detail it says about the description of Raj Dharma and Moksha Dharma. Dan Dharma, these are all descriptions Yudhishthira gives. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the synopsis of this thing in one of the purport, but Mahabharata chapter 60 onward, it gives the detailed description of this thing. So I will read something from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 9th chapter. It is describing Raj Dharma is a great science, unlike modern diplomacy for political supremacy. So Raj Dharma itself is a great science. It is not like the modern political propaganda. The kings were trained systematically to become munificent and not merely be tax collectors. This was the training for the kings, not to just collect the taxes, but fulfill the duties also. And Maharaj Chapter 2 section it comes that during, just like for the 8 months, sun evaporates the water, and in the next 4 months it keeps out in the form of the rain. So when the rain comes, the rain falls in every places, even in the ocean, on the stone, every place it falls down. It comes in Uddhav Gita also, 11th canto. So the nature of the rain that it doesn't discriminate whether it is needed or not. In that manner, Kshatriya king should give the remuneration, should give the gifts. When they collect the taxes, they should give the remuneration like the rain clouds are giving the rain all over the places. And kings were trained to perform different sacrifices only for the prosperity of the subjects. And who are the subjects of the king? The meaning of the praja is the Krishna Rupena Jayate. Means all who have taken birth in that kingdom, including human, animals, everyone, they comes under the care of kings. So kings need to take care of the human and need to take care of the animals also. It's not that for satisfaction of the palate of the human being, kings will order to make the slaughterhouses and kill lots of animals. This is not the ideal king. Because animals are also the pleasure of the king. Then this Prabhupada is writing to lead the subjects to the attainment of moksha, salvation, was a great duty of the king. The father, the spiritual master, and king are not to become irresponsible in the matter of leading their subjects to the path of ultimate liberation. When these primary duties are properly discharged, there is no need of government of the people, by the people, for the people. When the king is doing these duties, what all duties? Giving him the remuneration, protecting the praja, and leading the people to the moksha, salvation. When these duties are being performed by the king, then there is no need of democratic government. In modern days, the people in general occupy the administration by the strength of manipulated votes. Manipulated votes means politics based on the votes. Suppose some community has large number of voting share, so the political party try to woo that community. Woo means entice that community, and getting more and more votes and supporting them and neglecting other communities. This is the politics based on the manipulation of the votes. Now we see in India, it went on for so long, the vote politics. But these administrators, they are never trained in the primary duty of the king. In these circumstances, these untrained people play havoc to make the subjects happy in all respects. Now we see practically every country in the world want to become the world leader. Previously, Soviet Union and America were fighting who will become the world leader. Soviet Union eventually disintegrated. Now, from some time, America is the world power, and now China is trying to infiltrate the power of America. They are they are trying to make the youth of the America invalid for the progeny. So normally, opium is the intoxicant, which is very costly. But China has made a chemical which has been made in the lab, so it is not so costly. And China is selling that chemical He is infiltrating that chemical in the American boundary from the Mexico side. On the side of the Mexico, they are sending this drug intoxicant in the youth. And it's just in some months, 75,000 of American youths died because of that drug last year. That's why Donald Trump wanted to make a wall between Mexico and America for, for stopping the drug supply. But those who are the suppliers of that drug, they have the weapons that American army had to be employed for fighting with the drug suppliers. It's still the fight is going on in the border. It's not the country fighting. This is a fighting between the army and the supplier of the drugs. So we can see that eventually everyone tries to become the lord and master of the whole world. They want to become superpower. But they are not looking after this training of the administration. No matter how much superpower one can achieve, but if they are not trained up, then they cannot lead the subjects properly. And they play havoc to make the subjects happy and respect. These untrained administrators gradually becomes thieves and rogues and increase the taxation. That's why in 12th canto it comes that so much taxation will be there that the people will start running toward the forest. This is when the Kali Yuga progress. Taxes increases and there is no security because the king itself is the thief. So how he will protect the praja from the thief? So when he himself is the thief and rogue, so he take the money from the praja and doesn't give the protection. And he doesn't lead the praja in terms of the scriptural understanding like Manu Samhita and Parasar Dharmasastra. In the Vedic time, the king used to be ideal person and he was pious. If the king is pious, religious, brave and munificent, the citizens generally follow. If the king developed these qualities, then it is natural for the citizens to follow. Such type of king is not a lazy person, living at the cost of the subject. But he is alert always to kill the thieves and dacoits. The pious kings were not merciful to dacoits and thieves in the name of nonsensical ahimsa. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, so this thing comes, and now even the people are telling that nobody should be given the death sentence. Everyone should follow the non-violence. But the sloka doesn't talk about it. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma, Himsa. The next line says that if the Ahimsa should be done for the Dharma, it is good. So only the half line has been taken and being propagated. So Prabhupada, in front of Prabhupada also this question came. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. There was one sadhu. Not sadhu, but he was kind of a spiritual leader of one community. So he was advocating this philosophy of non-violence is the topmost kind of religion. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. This spiritual leader was telling like this, and he was talking with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was trying to tell him that violence will also require some time to revive the dharma. Just like violence was required in Mahabharata for reviving the dharma. Duryodhana was being killed for reviving the dharma. So Prabhupada was trying to make him understand. And this person is not understanding. Then Prabhupada used very graphical example, practical example. Prabhupada asked that person that who are these ladies who are sitting below you? The person was sitting on the chair and some of his followers were sitting. And among the followers, there were the lady disciples also. So Prabhupada asked, who are these ladies? So he says, these are my followers. And then Prabhupada told, if you are going with your lady followers somewhere, and some person comes and tries to misbehave with your lady followers, will you follow non-violence? So that person became stuck in his own philosophy. and he cannot say that I will do violence. So he told, yeah, yeah, I will follow violence, not violence. So when the Guru told like this, the disciples started crying. He, somebody will be staying with us and you will not protect us. So this person is not able to tell anything. And then Prabhupada started laughing and Prabhupada went. Prabhupada told, now you understood, ahimsa is not the Paramatma. Sometimes violence is required for establishing the religious principle. In the previous time, the taxation law was very simple. There was no force, no enforcement. The king had a right to take one fourth of the production made by the subject. Means anyone's income, king can take one fourth, 25% of the income. King had the right to take. The king had a right to claim a fourth of one's allotted wealth, and one would never grudge parting with it, because due to the pious king and religious harmony, there was enough natural wealth, grains, fruits, flowers, silk, cotton, milk, jewels, etc. Because the king was pious, so everything was in abundance, and nobody was materially unhappy. The citizens were rich in agriculture, and therefore they had enough grains, enough fruits, and enough milk, without any artificial needs of soaps and toilets, cinemas and bars. They had agricultural product, they had the cows, so they didn't need the soap. Instead of soap they were using the mud. Mud was being used as a soap. And there was no Pradhan Mantri toilet used that time. Everybody used to go outside of the village for the toilet. And that was a very cruel. Now they say there is a propaganda that if in some of the house, if in any house toilet is not there, then one should not get his daughter married to that house. That kind of rule is government is trying to make. This is all opposed to the Vedic civilization, making the toilets in every house. Cinemas and bars. Cinema is also one of the we can say gambling industry. Director, actor, everyone come together and they try to loot the money of the public by giving him some imaginary story filled with some fight, some joke, and different we can say masala. But the whole concept is based on imagination. The movies, whether it is Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies, they all are the imaginary movies. And the director puts the money and he expects that he will get much more money. Sometimes, sometimes the 200 crore, 300 crore comes. So it is like a gambling kind of thing. And it even harms the consciousness of the people because instead of becoming attracted to the absolute truth, Lord Krishna and his pastime, they are becoming attracted to the imagination and the actors which are characterless. Like those who are the model means film stars, big film stars. They are not very good in character. They don't have any character, and people are becoming attracted to it. When somebody they come out from their houses, some 10, 15,000 people are waiting to see them. I heard that when some of the Bollywood stars they come out from their houses just to do like this. And some 10, 15,000 people are staying in the crowd and they just say Jai like that. This is all based on imagination. Everyone should glorify Lord Krishna, but these cinema movies they have turned the attention. They contaminated the consciousness also because whatever is inside the movie, inside whatever story is there inside the movie, there is lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion. All six things are there in the story, in the screenplay, all the things. And they goes in the consciousness, and people also start singing the songs, singing those mundane songs, and seeing those movies many times. This is all the business of contemporary consciousness, which is sinful business actually. Bollywood industry. Many people say that Hollywood, it is a neutral act. It's not that we will incur the sinful days, but it is not a neutral act because it is contaminating the consciousness. When the movies are now the time is passing, the movies are becoming more and more degraded. So they are contaminating the mind of the mass of the people. Crores of people go to the cinema to see the movie, and when they come out, they fill their brain with lot of waste thoughts and negative thoughts. Similarly, the bars is the place where all co-regulated principles are being broken. People go there for breaking co-regulated principles. So these are all artificial things which is not supported by the ideal king. Ideal king doesn't support these things, movies and artificial lifestyle. Because the king had to see that the reserved energy of humanity should be properly utilized. Human energy is meant not exactly for fulfilling animal propensity, but for self-realization. The whole government was specifically designed to fulfill this particular purpose. The king had to select properly the cabinet ministers, but not on the strength of vote. The ministers and military commanders and even the ordinary soldiers were selected by personal qualification, and the king had to supervise them properly before they were appointed to the respective post. The king was especially vigilant to see that the tapasvi, means those who are doing austerity, or person who sacrificed everything for spiritual knowledge, were never disregarded. Vaishnavas and Brahmanas were not under the control of the king. King used to go there for serving them. Yudhishthir Maharaj says that in one of the places in Bhagavatam, that we don't have any adhikar on the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. Kshatriyas don't have any adhikar on the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. They are above the control of the king. The king knew well that the Supreme Personality of Godhead never tolerates any insult to his devotees. So his devotees should be in the proper care of the king. The king would give special protection to illiterate people, the helpless people, and the widows. Those who don't have any help, those who don't have any shelter, king used to give them special shelter and protection. The taxing process was very easy. It was not meant for strengthening the money, but for strengthening the reserve fund. The soldiers were used to get that. As far as moksha is concerned, king was taking care that everyone is conquering the principles of lust, anger, unlawful desires, bewilderment, and greed. Now the important thing is coming. We don't have time. Prabhupada is describing a very important thing. How to come out from the anarthas. To get freedom from anger, you can write down also this is important thing. To get freedom from anger, one should learn how to forgive. If somebody has too much anger, he should learn how to forgive. Then the anger will go down. To be free from unlawful desires, means sinful desires, one should not make plans. By not making plans for material sense gratification, one will become free from sinful desires. By this is 1927, chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 9, text 27. By spiritual culture, one is able to conquer sleep. Spiritual culture means living with the devotees. Automatically, when one devotee will wake up, he will wake us up also. So one can conquer sleep. Even if one wants to sleep more, he will not be allowed. By tolerance, one can conquer desires and avarice. Avarice means greed. By tolerance, one can conquer desires and greed. Then this next sentence is coming for the diseased person. Those who are diseased, they can hear properly. Disturbances from various diseases can be avoided by regulated diets. If one keeps his diet regulated, then he can avoid the diseases. By self-control, one can be free from false hope. False hope means we have different hopes that I will get this, I will get that, this thing will happen to me. But by self-control, one can be free from this. And money can be saved by avoiding undesirable associations. Money is being spent only when we go in the bad company. The bad company induces us to spend money in the bad manner. So if somebody wants to control same money, he should avoid undesirable associations. By practice of the yoga process, one can control the anger. And worldliness can be avoided by culturing the knowledge of impermanence. Culturing the knowledge of impermanence means to understand that everything is temporary. If one can realize it, he can conquer the material illusion. Then dizziness can be conquered by rising up. When we feel very sleepy, just try to rise up once on the bed. After rising up, the dizziness will come. So dizziness can be conquered by rising up. False argument can be conquered by factual ascertainment. Whenever there are different propaganda going on, one should research the subject matter and get to know the real facts. Talkativeness can be avoided by gravity and silence. Those who have too much urge of talking, they should practice silence, gravity and silence. And by prowess, one can avoid fearfulness. Perfect knowledge can be obtained by self-cultivation. One must be free from lust, anger, dreaming to actually attain the path of salvation. So many instructions in just one purport. This one instruction, one seminar can be given. Such a deep instruction Prabhupada is given, just in one purport. It goes on also. Actually, the purport is after this also the things are there. I will just read the last purport and then we will complete the class. The last item taught by Bhishma was the process of pleasing the Lord. We are all eternal servants of the Lord, and when we forget this essential part of our nature, we are put into material conditions of life. The simple process of pleasing the Lord is to install the deity of the Lord at home. By concentrating on the deity, one may progressively go on with the daily routine work, worshipping the deity at home, serving the devotee, hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, residing in a holy place, and chanting the holy name of the Lord are all inexpensive items by which one can please the Lord. Thus, the subject matter was explained by the grandfather to his grandchildren. So, we completed here. Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahapuran, Prabhuji, someone has some question, you can ask after time is there or after the class. Somebody has the question?
I have one question, but I will ask.
Very good.